Hello, you all. So I pray that y'all are doing phenomenal throughout this chapter because I had to get through some detoxing, rejuvenating, cleansing. Okay, for the past month and a half, I feel like I was losing myself, and I don't like that. I feel like when I'm coming to a state of where I'm burnt out, I become out of sync within like me, and I don't like that. I don't. I feel like I can't function properly or perform at my best. Long story short, I'm traveling tomorrow and I can't wait. Today's the 29th and I got home yesterday 28th, and I was indecisive in how I wanted to title this video because it's been a series of events that I was experiencing, and how I survive as the owner operator and not in the truck is prayer. I pray a lot. Okay, I feel like it was different things I was going through that was testing my character, especially in which being charged for work that mechanics didn't actually do. If that's you, how do you handle stuff like that? For those who are not able to read this clearly, it says Child Support Express, Poverty in Motion. I was in Connecticut during this encounter, and it was interesting because his daughter's name was on the truck, and like I love the name, but you're not alone. Hello, you guys. I hope y'all are feeling as great as I'm feeling. You know, looking good, doing good, feeling fantastic. We are entering a new year. I'm so excited because, you know, new goals are set, right? And we end up focusing on the new goals once we've already met our previous goals. And it's just, I don't know, I'm just sending out great positive vibes your way. Don't let nobody take your joy away and all that. As y'all can see in the video, I decided to spend the holidays over the road. Yes, this is not my first time, but my second time, so it wasn't entirely a bad experience. It was extremely peaceful. It was. And we decided to have a Christmas themed type of Zoom call. Someone got a PS5 and his reaction was priceless. It's not really more so just giving gifts, but being able to give whatever you can and not really expecting anything in return. It's that experience. It's that feeling that we get. You know, many of us have different levels of appreciation. Some people don't appreciate things at all and end up taking certain people for granted, in which they shouldn't, because it does come back to you. But enough of that. I am looking forward to this next journey because I get my place in a couple of months, and I just want to make sure I'm financially prepared for that. Also considering transitioning to be home a lot more frequently, especially now that I got my truck. It's a lot more beneficial and feasible. I feel like it will be for me. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Make sure you get a copy of my book, Trucking is a Man's Job Says Who. The audiobook is out. It's out on Amazon. It's extremely insightful and valuable for newer drivers, but it's a lot of suggested tips for even vetted type of drivers who may not even have thought of some of these things that I wrote. So I went through this whole mental breakdown, right? And it was closer towards New Year's. And there's typically two individuals that I confide in deeply when I'm going through this like cycle. And neither one of them I was communicating with because I felt like I had to get through this on my own with God and a lot of prayer. And it's crazy because when my mental, emotional, or physical is out of alignment, I just start to feel like I'm losing my inner self, and I don't like that. That's why I'm a huge advocate for indulging in self-care, okay? I'm able to reap the benefits of rejuvenating my overall self, because when I'm not at my best, I'm not able to function in the way that I know that I can, and it's so frustrating because it can happen at any moment. I ended up burning myself out, and it alludes to lack of sleep and sleep deprivation and a whole bunch of mess. So I advocate for anyone, take care of your health first, because you are the most important person out here. Seriously. So this is what it's like, the day in the life, night life of an owner-operator dual power only. And at this plant facility specifically, is so challenging doing this at nighttime because there are dozens of trailers that you have to search for. So you need your safety vest and a flashlight and a whole bunch of patience. And I promise you'll get through it. As some of y'all can see, we made it to Tennessee. And when I see these accidents that are occurring on the opposite side of the interstate, causing an hour to 2 hour long wait in which I was in, it ends up causing a whole nother incident that has nothing to do with the accident that you see, right? So always expect the unexpected. As drivers, this is just what we have to go through. So try to trip plan effectively and pay attention to these alternative routes, because sometimes there'll be other routes that you could detour and go on about your merry safe way. If you put your body on me, I put my money on you, I put the dollar on you, girl. This accident that occurred was involved with a four-wheeler, and I can only imagine how long and how many truckers were in this backup, because it went on for some time. So I believe I need a new fifth wheel, right? Y'all never want to see no spaces in between the skid plate and the kingpin. But other than that, I know I actually need a new fifth wheel for other reasons. This one we're taking up to Canada. I'm pushing the trailer air brake so it can air up. Yes, the best part of the day, the shower was calling my name. My favorite time to detox is in these showers. As y'all can see, the towel was already unfolded when I got there, but y'all see these stains? It's so not fair. It is not. Before I head to Canada, I print out my manifest, and this is portable and convenient. I absolutely love this printer. Yep. Straight like that. Very compact to the point. And it goes right under my bunk when it is done. So now it's time to start. I was kind of nerve-wracked a little bit coming back on the road because I just got my radiator repaired, and it was unexpected. So I have been very cautious in monitoring the coolant levels and all of that. So let's get going. So as y'all can see, I had a whole situation with my gauges, man. My battery gauge and my oil gauge simultaneously like to go down to 0. And honestly, there are some owner operators who genuinely like to figure out their own problems and tackle the matter at hand, which is nothing wrong with that, right? Cost efficient. You want to do what's feasible for you and your business. I went into this shop and they told me that I needed to go to Freightliner, blah blah blah. So eventually I looked up the problem, and do y'all see these wires here? Yeah, it could be this. Initially, I thought it was a shortage or a bigger problem at hand that I would not be able to fix because I was already taking my truck into the shop in Charlotte, but come to my surprise, they failed me. On this particular trip, I was heading to Canada, but before I went to Canada, I was in a whole bunch of mess when it came to this wind storm or whatever it was in Iowa. Take a look. Whew, do y'all want to talk about some things that have challenged you the most in your driving career? It was definitely this day in Iowa, and it was around the Missouri, Iowa, Midwest area. Winds 100 miles per hour. I picked up this trailer in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I failed, which was my fault. I failed to check the weather en route because when I was discussing my pre-plan, my dispatcher had informed me, oh, you're going to Canada, the weather's going to be great. So I completely failed to check the weather anyway because I got so complacent with where I already had left from. The truck to my right The way it was flipped over is exactly how majority of the trucks was flipped over, laying on their side. It was so close that a lot of y'all probably still wondering, like, why were you even driving in those conditions? Well, little do you know, I was actually 30 miles far from my delivery. I was comfortable. I don't normally put myself in situations that where I'm going to be driving while I'm uncomfortable. I honestly go well under the speed limit, and I continue to go at my own pace. For some of these drivers, it could have been speeding, losing control of the wheel, braking excessively. It could be various reasons on why some of these drivers have flipped over, and not just because of the wind. Because the driver who was following behind me, we literally got off of the same exit and stopped at the truck stop, and I was done for the night. Even while I was parked up at the truck stop, I felt like my truck was gonna flip over being parked. Somebody had messaged me, and he was kind of like, I guess, seeing if I was all right and everything. And I was like, no, this was one of the most treacherous events ever being out here, and I never want to wish this on anybody or have anyone go through this, because it could be a lot if you don't put yourself in a right position. Check the weather, of course, at all times. Canada nice, man. And every time I cross the border, I don't have issues. Strangely and oddly enough, the woman who checked me in, she didn't even ask me any questions. She just like, at the border, you got to make sure you have your mask on. And I put on my mask. She checked my passport, and she sent me on my merry way. Whereas there was this one woman once who had me searched, or my truck searched, and it was kind of uncomfortable because, in all honesty, you don't know what the officer is really searching for. I don't do drugs, or I don't have no type of contraband, so it's just like, get out of my personal space, But this lady, it was in and out like a smooth transition or transaction, and I was grateful. The weather was nice this day, and I went on my merry way. At some point, I had to change my cabin air filter and my air filter on top of the engine, and the cabin air filter was a lot more in great need of changing. It definitely was. And sadly, the cover broke because the nail got stuck and it wouldn't come out, so I definitely need a new cover for that. So that was it. Typically, these facilities end up being, once we cross through Canada, it ends up being like an hour to hour 15 minutes further out. So you definitely don't want to be speeding in areas that you shouldn't, because they don't be playing with their speed and all that. So once I had checked in, the guy let me know where to drop off the trailer at, and I go about my merry way, and less time, less hassle. Nobody's dealing with unloaded and loaded freight. In this instance, not at all. I eat so unhealthy on the road that I would love to go vegan, but that is a commitment that is going to take some effort, dedication, and time. Considering the circumstances, the options be limited out here. This was one of the service plazas in Canada. After Canada, I ended up picking up in Champlain, New York, which is pretty common. I picked up this 2022 trailer and did my whole inspection, videoed everything to make sure everything's like nothing falls back on me. But upon delivering in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, I came across some old friendly friends I hadn't seen in a while. Let's take a look. That's crazy. Why did you guys It's 2 o'clock in the morning on the 31st. I started up my truck, so when I get back to my truck, it could be warm. I'm about to go take this marvelous shower to wake me the heck up because I'm tired. But when I get to my destination, I'm in Pennsylvania right now. Before I get to where I'm heading to, I'm gonna detox for the weekend. So now I'm done with that. Showers always hit right. I am so ready to. I didn't tell y'all Happy New Year's Eve. I didn't know exactly where I would be in this US of A, but I knew I wasn't going to be home. And now I'm about to go get some hot water for this tea to hit my soul, because I have green tea and ginseng in my truck as one of my favorites. If you don't know, ginseng is great. It has great benefits for promoting memory, good memory, and other things, but that's one of the main aspects of it. So I will pull it up in a second. So I'm done with that, and I would do a full-blown pre-trip type inspection right now, but I ain't got no time to waste, and it's dark and it's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I'll be more thorough at the few hours, honestly. I can say I'm looking forward to this, because once I deliver up to where I'm going, I get to relax. I'm tired. See Trinity down there? Yeah. So this is around the time I spent my New Year's Eve, New Year's Day type of deal. And I was up in the Boston, Massachusetts area. We had 2 pickups at the arena heading to Hartford, Connecticut, and boy, were these loads eventful. It was during these moments that I felt like I was losing myself a bit. You know, I was unable to really eat or sleep, lack of appetite, and I hate getting through these states. And like I said before, it's normally 2 people I speak to gain different perspectives, but it is only by the grace of God and a whole bunch of prayer that we made it through. So after that detox was done, these clips are a little bit sped up. These deliveries were at the Hartford Convention Center, Connecticut, and I promise these type of loads will deter anyone from wanting to do these Disney on Ice shows because of the locations. It made absolute no sense. It was 6 of us who were picking up and dropping off at this same location, and it's gut-wrenching. It is, because it's like the exact amount of space that's needed, so the wrong turn or not turning enough or just whatever, anything that you slightly do wrong with the way you turn your wheel, it can cause some type of chaos and destruction, because everything is so congested down here. So when I get off of the road, it's stuff like this I know for a fact I'm not going to miss, because no matter how cautious we are, no matter how careful we try to assess certain situations, things happen. They do. So you end up hitting a wall, scraping up a trailer, causing some type of major issues that affects their equipment. It becomes a hassle taking care of it, so I'm just so grateful that we made it out in and out safely. And the frustrating part is the fact that we had to come through here twice. So whatever you messed up on the first time, best believe the second time you were going to correct it. The thoughts going through my mind was I was just grateful I was not one of the last trucks, in all honesty, because of the way, the positions of the trailers were just so awkwardly positioned. So it made it very difficult for the last driver when he was turning, as y'all are going to be able to see. It was tough. Situations like this don't make sense for 53-foot trailers in a sleeper. It doesn't make sense, but there's a will, there's a way, apparently. And I believe he was the last driver. Yeah, I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense to me. But this was the expected load, the delivery, everything worked out. Thank God no one hit anything or got into any major incidents. We all made it in and out safely. Yeah, never again. Never again. Made 0 cents. 6 in Indianapolis, I am dropping off my oil sample. I did an oil sample for my truck, and especially with Trinity being at, well, y'all can see the mileage, 818,000 miles, a little over. I just want to be cautious and well prepared for anything because I don't like surprises when it comes to my truck. I try to do everything and anything possible with staying prepared. So I'm gonna put this in an envelope and then take off this slip and put the tracking slip on the envelope and wait a couple days for them to get back to me and find out if there are any contaminants with my truck. So yeah, we have to go find the right slip. I normally pick one of the brown envelopes, and after I'm done with this, I'm gonna go pick up in Monin, Indiana, or so. I think this one is good. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Eventually, I finally went home like around January 9th, I believe. I'd been out for over a month and I got a haircut. Yeah, very unexpected. I was in disbelief when I seen it. I wasn't completely mad, just pretty shocked because it's been a while since I had it so short. So Mr. Chris Lee, who is on Instagram and on YouTube, devised this amazing financial planner for truckers, and it's a great tool or resource to utilize because it allows us to keep track of our finances and maintain things within our day-to-day spending habits. I absolutely appreciate this because my biggest expense is food aside from my maintenance. Any man or any woman can go through this, so always stay alert. My biggest pet peeve is when it comes to dealing with mechanics who charge you for work that they didn't do. And I would explain this foolishness to y'all because I honestly want to see what this fool is going to say, because this is his second time lying to me. Good morning. Is Dwight here or someone I can speak to regarding my charges on my bill?
I just paid for using the shop.
That's fine.
Dwight, to the office, please.
Hello. Pretty good.
Transmission runs, but then we gotta, I don't know if you got the front part out, but the back part's apart, so we need to put it in a box or a towel or something.
The back part of it?
Yeah, cause it's going back. What's up?
Hello, good morning. So this is the issues that I have. So I came here, right, and I told you that my gauges were acting up with my battery gauge and my oil gauge.
Yep.
And you told me specifically that it's probably an internal problem. I can go to Freightliner. When honestly, it could have been the wires that connects the gauges. Honestly.
It's probably in the dash.
In the dash. Okay, that's
probably in
fine.
the dash,
So the
yeah.
other issue I have is the fact that on here, it says that the fuel cylinder unit was replaced. On my truck, the unit was not replaced, and I know that for a fact because I changed that unit myself.
And if you go on my fuel tank, you look at the actual tape that I put on there. So therefore, no one actually performed that work on my truck. So I was charged for that.
The fuel sender,
Correct.
you're saying we didn't replace it.
Because if you go outside on my truck, I replaced that sender myself. So I either need a refund or the actual part back, because that doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, if we don't charge you, if we don't put it in there, so it was replaced. So the best thing for me to do is give you the money back for that sender and knock an hour labor off of it, and you can go somewhere else next time. So let me do
Whole
that.
time I was baffled because I genuinely wanted him or a tech to come out there with me. My truck was right outside. You know, you could see the electrical tape that I used, in which I had put the wires together, in which I had no reason to lie about this. So as a lady owner operator, these are some of the things that I genuinely go through, that I never record, that I keep to myself, because there are truly some cruel individuals out there who will just take and take and take from you and leave you with nothing. That's why if I can do it, I'll look it up, whatever part it is, and I'll try to tackle it myself, because I only come to the shop out of desperation. I always have a bad vibe here, and it's not too many credible shops in the Charlotte area, but who do I turn to in situations like this? I just pray to God to get me through it, for real. Anybody can go through this, so please don't get discouraged. I was refunding my money. Let y'all go, because this vision that we end up having, the blueprints that we devise, whatever that we have aligned within our own path, there's always that somebody or those type of minions that always have the most to say, who never been nowhere, who's never done nothing, whether it be complacency, the most fearful, the most faithless, right? The ones who end up limiting themselves the most, that always want to downplay what we have going on. Don't listen to them. I'm so serious. Because that ambition, nobody can take that away from you, baby. Nobody. And that's what really sets us aside from, I don't want to say it like that. That's what really sets us aside from those who just don't really have much going on for themselves, because they can't see it for themselves. The mindset is something serious. So I want to leave y'all with that. I'm not entirely sure when I'm going to post this video, but I love y'all. Stay safe. Reach for as high as you can possibly reach when it comes to your vision, and that's all that matters, as long as you believe in yourself. So I absolutely love my tools. I got this at Lowe's. I got all these items at Lowe's. These are two different types of drills, because I was performing two separate type of jobs, and this definitely came with this. This was purchased separately from that, and we're gonna take off these bolts from this dash. So it's T25 that I'm end up using, and we'll just slide it in there. Once we slide it, we are going to twist this one as such. So now that the piece is on there, these are the parts that I'm going to replace. Hopefully it's this, because this is the cheapest option. If not, it may be the actual dash itself. And if it's not the dash, the CPC communication system that is connected to the dash may need to be replaced. So let's get started. So I recently had a delivery January 20th in Miami, and I was able to stop by the Freightliner in Pompano Beach, Florida. They had 5, and I managed to pick up 4 of them, ended up being $19.54. Okay, lovelies, I took out all these bolts here. Once I took them out, now I'm going to try to change these wires here. And in all honesty, I think I need new gauges, but like I said, if the wires do not fix the problem, I need a whole new assembly, I believe. And if it's not that, it may be the CPC unit communications system. So let's just hope it's the cheaper version. So I literally wiggle this, or push this tab back and wiggle it out. But they're difficult to come out, honestly, unless I have to cut my nails.
Okay, lovely. So I ended up changing this one, the one with the fuel gauge. I ended up changing these two, well, this one and this one, and I have one more left. I honestly don't know which one else to change because it's this one, and that one, and this one and that one. So I'm just gonna play it by ear. These are 3 of the old ones and they look rough. Again, I'm hoping this is it because this is the cheapest option for now. So we're just gonna preserve this one, okay? If y'all think for sure I should change something else, please let me know. But we're just gonna be hopeful with this one. Let's put this back together. So I will see if it is those wires, but from driving, after driving, I'll be able to better assess it because I don't know right now. Day in the life of the owner-operator. I'm about to go shower and start my shift. Yeah, I was in Michigan in this spread and I've been waiting because my windows are tinted and I have to get this done once I get my windshield replaced. Hope y'all enjoyed the vlog. Peace.